Doomsday Cult Mom Lori Vallow and her husband Chad Daybell are charged with first-degree murder in the death of her children Tylee and JJ.
Latest on the search for those missing Idaho siblings.
5 months since J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan.
Tylee Ryan and J.J. Vallow have been missing.
New developments in the twisted Doomsday Cult. 2 missing children with Arizona ties and a trail of dead people all connected to this case.
What's up, everybody? Midnight Stories 32 here. I have a sick and twisted story about a mother who has all of her loved ones disappear around her. Before we get into the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. That small act from you can tell the YouTube algorithm to push our video to more viewers. Now let's get into the story. It was July 11th, 2019 in a quiet family neighborhood located in Chandler, Arizona, when gunshots echoed the suburban neighborhood. Alex Cox rushes to his cell phone and calls the police to let them know that he shot and killed his brother-in-law. The police and paramedics rush to the scene. Alex calmly walks outside with his arms raised in the air and tells the officers exactly what happened. Victim, Charles Vallow, well, he swung at Alex with a baseball bat. Alex had no choice but to draw his firearm and shoot him dead in the middle of the living room. Charles's wife, Lori Vallow, she witnessed the entire tragedy and confirmed with the police that her husband had attacked Alex. The police were reluctant to let Alex go, but had no choice since the shooting was in self-defense. 1 month later, Lori and her grieving children Tylee and JJ, well, they moved 1,000 miles away to Rexburg, Idaho. Tylee was 16 years old and her little brother JJ was 7 years old at the time that they were brought to Idaho. Unfortunately, a series of tragedies would continue to strike the family. 1 week into moving to the new town, Tylee went missing and JJ ended up disappearing soon after her. Lori never reported the disappearance of either of her children. It's believed that Lori moved to a small town with no connections, so no one would notice the disappearance of both of her children. Things really begin to escalate from here. Lori ended up finding a new love interest within days of moving to her new town. His name was Chad Daybell, and he was a well-known author for Doomsday books. He was a religious type, and he claimed that God would even speak to him. Chad had fascinations with prepping for the second coming, and this is what drew Lori to him. The only problem for the two lovebirds was that Chad was already married, and now Lori's a mistress. Fast forward 2 months into their relationship and Chad's wife goes missing. Lori and Chad's relationship was heating up and moving a mile a minute that they ended up getting married just a few days after the disappearance of Chad's wife. The Rexburg police received a call from JJ and Tylee's grandparents. They were requesting a wellness check be done for the grandchildren. The grandparents were becoming concerned because Lori was dodging their calls and they hadn't heard from their grandchildren in quite some time. The police show up to Lori's home completely unannounced, and they question her on the location of her children. Lori claimed that JJ was visiting a friend in Arizona and that Tylee, well, she was at BYU. The police didn't really believe her, but they had little evidence to prove otherwise. They did find it odd that Chad was at Lori's home, considering his wife disappeared less than a month ago. After the police left, Lori and Chad decided to skip town. They headed to Hawaii so they could avoid any further police investigations. February of 2020, everything would change. Lori had skipped a court order in Idaho to prove that her children were okay. As a result, a warrant for arrest was issued and she was arrested in Hawaii and flown back to Idaho to stand in court. Lori was unable to furnish the children and held in police custody. Fast forward 4 months to June 9th of 2020, and the police serve a warrant to search Chad's property. They unfortunately find the remains of Tylee and JJ buried on the property. Chad was immediately arrested. Lori recently had a hearing and was determined to be incompetent for court. Even though Lori remains in custody, there's still no trial date set for her. The prosecutor on the case, well, he's made it public that he's seeking the death penalty. Please subscribe if you like this video and are interested in watching more about true stories. Until next time, Midnight Stories 32.